A lot of people have been asking me how to make a fillable assignment for students and how to assign it to each student. So since I'm making my own syllabus signable for my students, I thought I'd videotape it in case anyone else had questions. So I have in Word, I made my syllabus. This is my syllabus for my 8th grade physical science class. So my plan is to take pictures of each page of this document and to paste it as a background into Google Slides. That way students can't move it, change it. It's really secured. So what I need to have is my document open in Word. And then I also need to go into my Drive and open up Google Slides. So you do have slides in here that just opens it in your Drive if you want to click on slides, or you can just go straight to your Drive. I usually have my Drive open, and so I start in my Drive and I just click over here on the top left where it says new. I just left click on that and I can, sorry, my internet's slow. And I can choose slides right here. So this is opening up a new Google slide for me. So once this gets loaded, I don't want this on here, and so I don't want to have anything in the background. So I might, let me see how I choose a blank one. Maybe it's in layout. Oh yeah, in layout. So here on layout, it's right next to background, which we're going to use in a minute. So here on layout, I can go to the bottom here and just pick blank. That way I don't need to bother cutting it. Also, I'm going to be pasting in a document that usually would be a piece of paper. And as you can see, this is more of a landscape style. So the other thing that I am going to do in the layout, now that I've made it blank, is I am going to go to File up here, and almost to the bottom, it says Page Setup. If I click on that, it says Page Setup, and then under here is the standard 16:9 rectangle view that we usually see in slides or PowerPoint. But I want it to be like a piece of paper. So just like I would hand out a syllabus in class, I'm going to make this like a piece of paper, which is an 8.5 by 11. So I'm going to choose custom, and it's already in inches. So I'm going to change it to 8.5 for 8.5 by 11. It's already in inches, and apply this. So you can see my slide now looks like a piece of paper. So my syllabus is 2 pages long. So if I right click on this one over here on the left, I can put add a new slide, and you can see that it keeps the same size. For some reason, it still doesn't want to be blank, but I can go back to it being blank and choose that one's blank too. So I know I want to take my 2-page Word document and put it into Google Slides. Okay, so I'm going to go back to my Word document. Here is my syllabus. So the way that I'm planning on doing this and making it a background, I need to have an image as a background. So what I need to do is somehow figure out how to take a picture of my syllabus and insert that. So there's this really handy thing called a snipping tool. It's going to be called Snip and Sketch soon, but if I go down here and search and start typing in snipping tool, you can see that it's right here. I'm going to click on the snipping tool. Talks about how it's going to become snip and sketch, so you can use that as well. For now, I want to use the snipping tool. So I can hit new here, and what that does when it grays it out like this and gives me this little cursor, it means I can just take a picture of anything on my screen. The problem with that is if you look over here, then you can see that things like this, let me make this larger so you can see it. So you can see that I did not fix all my formatting errors. So here where Word is telling me that I should probably capitalize this, or it doesn't like my passive voice, then those things are going to show. So I'm going to go through and fix these first. So those things it just wanted me to capitalize. If I keep scrolling down, if I look here, I bet it wants me to not have passive voice, but I don't care what Word wants. I want to have passive voice here. So I'm just going to put ignore. And what that does is it takes away that formatting. So it doesn't like the word get here, but I'm going to ignore it. Now it doesn't like this phrase. I'm going to right click. I'm going to choose ignore once just to get rid of that line. So when I take the picture, that it's not going to show in my syllabus that I give to my students. It doesn't like the conjunction there, so I'm going to ignore it. And then it does not like this either. So I'm going to right click again and left click on ignore. So now I've gotten rid of all of those lines. The one other thing I need to worry about is that wherever I put the cursor, it's going to show as well. So what I'm going to do is just put the cursor at the end and hit return so it's on another page that I'm not taking a picture of. So I'm going to shrink this so that I can have these fit on my screen so that when I take a picture, it is available. So I'm going to go down here. My snipping tool, even though I closed it, it's still right down here. I'm going to click on it. Here's my one from before, but I want to do a new one. And so I am going to drag my cursor so I capture this. I look at what I captured. Okay, that's good. That's what I wanted. And then I need to go and tell my snipping tool that I want to save this. So I'm going to save as. Make sure when you save things, you know where they're going. I'm just letting this go to my desktop because I'm just using it for right now, so it's easy. And I want to know that this is my physics syllabus, page 1. And I am going to save it. Okay. I could do my second page too right now. I'm going to minimize this for a second because my little window here is in the way. So I'm going to close this for a second while I take another picture. So I'm going to say new. I want to move this over because I don't want it in the way of the page 2. I click on new. Now that it's fuzzy and I have my cursor, I can take a picture of my second page. You can see I've got signature lines down there. Oh, and I captured the size. I'm going to retake this so I don't have that line on there. So I am going to retake it. Okay, there, I got rid of that line. And I'm going to save this as physics syllabus page 2. Okay, so now I have page 1 and 2 saved. I'm going to close this. So the X is to close. This little bar is to minimize. So if you look at the bottom in my toolbar, you can see snipping tool is still there. If I minimize it using that little bar, it's still there. But if I close it, that means I closed it. It doesn't mean that it went away. I would just have to search for it again. Okay, so I have my pictures. Now I'm going to go back to my Google Slides. And remember, I resized these. So I'm going to go to page 1 up here. So I'm looking at page 1. Instead of inserting a photo using insert, which could be moved around, I'm going to make an image as a background. So I'm going to click on background. And I'm going to choose an image. And I had saved those pictures I took to my desktop. So I can choose to either take a picture, find one on a website, look in my photos, look in Drive, do an actual image search on Google. But I just want to upload because I know that they're on my desktop. So I'm making sure I have upload, and then I'm going to browse. And I'm going to look, I called it physics syllabus. Here we go, physics syllabus. There's page 1. So I'm going to open, and I should see it come up here. Might take a second. Done. So now I have the first page of my syllabus. So you can't see any cursors or anything in there. That's good. Now I'm going to click on page 2 and do the same thing. I clicked on page 2. This is page 2. I'm going to go to background. I'm going to choose an image. I'm left clicking when I'm choosing to do things. I'm going to upload, and I'm going to browse. It's going to go to my desktop because that's where I put that picture I want. So I'm looking for physics syllabus, page 2. Okay, so I'm going to left click on open. I'm going to wait for that to upload. Looks good. And I hit done, left click. So I'm pretty good, except that I might want to assign this as an assignment and have students and parents sign it basically by typing their names. So what I'm going to do is insert a text box. So I chose insert, I chose text box. I'm going to go down here. I've got a cursor again, and I'm just going to drag this blue box over the signature line. That way, when a student comes to sign it, they can type in there. When they open it up, they can type in there. I'm going to add a second one. I'm going to insert a text box on the parent signature line. Okay, so now I'm done. And this exists in my Google Drive. So when you see this up here, this is in your drive. You can tell it's saving to your drive. I want to title this so I know what it is. This is my physics syllabus in slides. Okay, so now if I try to sign this in Google Classroom, I can link to my Google slide and know that I'm choosing the right thing. Okay. So I'm going to post another video that shows, I'm not ready to assign this to my class quite yet. So I'm going to post another video that shows how you could assign this and then assign it to all students in your classroom. So I'll just close this, and you can see in my drive now, here's my physical science syllabus, and this yellow icon means you can tell that that is a Google Slides. If I go into my classroom, and I want to assign it to my physics students, I can just start in Physical Science 1. I can go to classwork. I can create an assignment. So I'm going to create an assignment right here. So physical, maybe I'll just say read and sign your syllabus. I might explain about having their parents look through it with them. And then I would add. So I'm going to add from my Google Drive. Here's my physical science syllabus right here. I can add my syllabus. I can insert. Remember, I'm left clicking to choose. And this is where the assigning it to students comes in. So if I say students can view file, they can't edit it. I can click on the drop-down menu. If I say students can edit file, that means all the students, like when you collaborate on a single document in Google Drive, like we're doing with the Google University Google Sheet, that means everybody's editing the same one. So that means students and parents are all typing into the same little text box. Instead, we want to make a copy for each student. So we would choose this right here. I have many classes too that are physical science. So instead of having to repeat this, I could choose this for all of my physical science classes. And that way the same assignment will be created for those physical science classes, okay? So you're not having to repeat it multiple times. I can put in the points. I can put in a due date. Let's say I want it due on Thursday. And I'm going to put it under important information. Okay, maybe in here I would type something about after we go over this in class, you know, make sure you go over this with your parents. You should read and sign it, and your parents should read and sign it, and to please contact me if you have any questions, okay? My next step would be to assign this. This would get assigned individually to each student in my physical science classes, okay? So I'm not ready to do that yet, but hopefully that helped you with how to do that.